Savage. Stealthy. Deadly. Leopards are Africa's most elusive big cat. But one man and one extraordinary leopard have formed a lifelong bond and opened a window into the world of these mysterious predators. This is leopard territory. 17,000 hectares of bush that is home to more than 20 of Africa's most enigmatic big cats. This leopard dynasty is the lifeblood of South Africa's Londolozi Game Reserve, in the south of the Great Kruger National Park. The leopards here have been filmed and studied for almost 3 decades. Each cat is intimately known. And unlike most places, they are not shy of people. But there is one leopard that has taken her relationship with humans to a new level. And one man that has dedicated almost 2 decades of his life to filming her. John Vardy, or JV, has been following leopards since childhood, but his relationship with this one is different. He calls her Manana, Shangaan for mother, and he shares a trust with her that is uncanny for her species.
Okay, girlie.
Most leopards are aggressive and unpredictable, and will attack without warning. But JV is able to sit only meters from Manana, unharmed. Their extraordinary bond was made possible by an encounter more than a decade before Manana was born. The year is 1979. JV and his tracker, Elman Mlongu, are on the trail of a leopard. They've just started out as wildlife cameramen, and so far, the secretive cats have proved difficult to catch on camera. But today, they hit gold. A mother leopard and her cubs. Sightings like this usually last long enough for the mother to get her cubs out of sight. But not this time. This leopard allows them to watch her without concern. They name her the Mother. And JV vows to document her life on camera. Over the next 12 years, she allows them to film every aspect of her life.
The mother leopard was the first leopard that showed me that it was possible to have a relationship, a close relationship with the leopard. She unlocked the secret world of the leopard to me.
But one night, JV watches as that world is torn apart. Lions pursue the mother after a kill, and she makes a deadly miscalculation. She hauls her carcass up a tree, but it's too low. Lions are too big to climb high. But the 150-kilogram killer gets into the low branches easily. cornered. The mother has no option but to meet her fate on the ground. At dawn, JV and Elman scour the mother's territory and find what they fear. Their leopard, brutally injured, dying. Her wounds cut to the bone. They watch as life slips from her torn body, and their window into the world of leopards closes. JV and Elman try to follow other leopards, particularly the mother's daughter, named Tugwan Female. But Tugwan's nature is a far cry from her mother's. She's temperamental and aggressive, and they track her with extreme caution. So when they see her leave to hunt, they recognize a rare opportunity to get down to her den and see if she has cubs. What JV finds changes his life. A tiny female cub emerges from the den. It's Manana, 10 days old. JV's window into the world of leopards opens once more. As a single parent, Tugwan must hunt, or she and the cubs will starve. So, in their first weeks of life, Manana and her brother are often left unguarded at the den. Lions and hyenas kill the offspring of other predators to eliminate the competition, and unguarded leopard cubs are soft targets. But the dense bush and cavernous rocks of the Tugwan riverbed protect this den like a fortress, allowing Manana and her brother to hone their skills in relative safety. New creatures awaken their earliest hunting instincts. But it takes a little longer to grow into climbing. But practice makes perfect. And soon the trees become their preferred playground. And everything in them, fair game. Manana soon learns that tackling prey that bites and hisses is harder than it looks. She heads down after easier prey. As the cubs grow, So too will the size of their prey, until at 1 year, they will be ready to catch full-grown antelope alone. As adults, the treetops of Londolozi will become their domain. The dense woodlands are perfect leopard habitat, abounding with a diversity of prey. But with that prey comes other, larger predators. Manana learns early in her solitary adult life that catching prey is only the first hurdle. Keeping it is always a far tougher task. The death rattle of the impala goes up like a flag, alerting wandering hyenas to the kill. They'll stop at nothing for a free meal. And with a bite that can crack bone, they make deadly enemies. Manana is in mortal danger. Seconds after Manana makes the kill, spotted hyenas surround her. Alone and outnumbered, she can't afford to fight. The hyenas, on the other hand, can't help fighting. A strict hierarchy guts feeding. With so many mouths, underlings must be kept out by force. Soon, the feeding frenzy turns into a riot, allowing Manana to sneak in and steal back her carcass. This time, she hauls it out of reach before the hyenas know what's happened. She eats her fill while she can. But hyenas are relentless. A scout remains to stake out the tree and wait for Manana to make a mistake. Leopards inevitably lose kills to predators. But when Manana bears her first litter, the stakes change. Predators are a constant, mortal threat to leopard cubs. Here in the Kruger National Park, they kill 1 in 2 infants. But even at only 4 years old, Manana proves to be an excellent mother. Her den sites are all but invisible. She moves the cubs every few days to keep the predators guessing. Never staying in one den long enough to build up a telltale scent trail. But there is one enemy that Manana cannot outwit. And JV knows it all too well.
A female leopard, which we called Sunset Bend female, contracted psychoptic mange. And I believed at that time that it was a natural process and that I should not interfere. And I watched and filmed while she deteriorated and eventually died. And filming her body, I realized I had it within my power to save her life, and I'd let her go.
When Manana and her cubs contract the same mange, he is forced to make a controversial decision. Sarcoptic mange is caused by a mite that eats away the skin. In the wild, it's a death sentence. But this time, JV won't stand by and watch Manana die. To treat the mange, JV will dart a drug called ivermectin directly into Manana and her cubs. Elman tracks Manana to a dense grove of trees. One cub is on the ground below. The other in the low branches. They must move fast. The darts will hurt. Manana may see it as an attack on her and the cubs, and fight back.
It's one of the few times when the dart hit Manana that I saw her really angry.
The risk is worth it. 3 weeks later, Manana and the cubs make a full recovery. JV's intervention gives Manana another 14 years of life. And her cubs survive the ordeal to become some of Lundalosi's most successful leopards. But Manana's next litter is not so lucky. A new threat terrorizes her territory. Male leopards. Territorial males kill cubs that aren't theirs so that females can bear their cubs instead. When two competing males invade Lundalosi from either side, it turns into a killing spree as they repeatedly destroy each other's offspring. After losing 2 consecutive litters, Manana makes a move to end the slaughter. She seeks out one of the males and entices him to mate. Like domestic cats, microscopic spines on the male's genitalia make mating a painful process for the female. A process she must repeat every 15 minutes, day and night, for up to 5 days straight. The repeated couplings force Manana's body to ovulate and help to ensure conception. When the ordeal finally ends, she crosses her territory to find the other male and endures it all over again. By mating with both males, Manana deceives them into thinking the resulting cubs will be theirs. It's an extraordinary strategy that only a few leopards have ever been seen to employ. And it pays off. 3 months later, she has a single tiny cub. Usually, there are 2 or 3 cubs in a litter. Lions may abandon single cubs to bear larger litters. But Manana chooses to keep this only child. The rocky den hides many inaccessible crevices, and its perimeter is guarded by dense thorn trees. A lion or hyena will have to work hard to reach the cub. Manana leaves it safely concealed in the rocks and heads off to hunt. But today, Manana's not the only predator on the prowl. There is one killer that can breach the den's defenses. And it's moving in, whilst Manana's attentions are elsewhere. Hunt failed, Manana heads home. She gives a soft contact call for her cub, but there is no answer. Something is wrong. It takes only a second to recognize the killer. An African rock python, swollen with a cub-sized meal. Manana risks her own life as she attacks her cub's killer. The python retreats into the thorns. But Manana will not give up. 3 hours, she lies silently, staking out the python's cave. At last, her patience pays off. The injured python finally makes a move. Manana is ready for the next round. She waits until it's clear of the cave. But there's no battle. A built-in reflex forces the snake to relinquish its hard-won meal. Under stress, pythons regurgitate their prey to shed the extra weight for a speedy escape. But Manana has abandoned the attack. She's got what she came for.
After the python disgorged her cub, I thought Manana would go after that python and kill it. But there was no act of revenge. All she wanted was her tiny cub back. We tend to think of leopards as instinctive and animals without emotion. That is completely untrue.
Manana carries the body away from the den and begins to consume it.
Manana knows that her cub is gone. By eating that cub, I believe that she was going through a ritual, she was going through a ceremony, disposing of the cub. It was one of the most emotional times I ever spent with her. And then, incredibly, for 4 days, she called for a cub that she knew was already dead. As a filmmaker, it's hard to just turn your camera on and capture the scene because it cuts very, very deep.
Manana's grief is tangible, but losing cubs is a reality all leopard mothers must face. Of Manana's 8 litters, only 4 cubs survived to adulthood. She can't afford to grieve for long. She must ensure her own survival. And to do so, she must hunt. Her 15-meter vantage gives her a bird's-eye view on potential prey. An impala breaks from the herd. Manana has her target. Now, it's all down to timing. She makes it look easy, but this aerial assault is rarely witnessed. It takes a perfect set of circumstances, the right prey in the right place, perfect timing, perfect precision. But it means nothing until her belly is full. She needs to get the kill off the ground quickly. But even the trees aren't always safe. Lions are the leopard's #1 enemy in Africa. They're 3 times her size, and unlike hyenas, lions can climb. Like her grandmother, it's a threat she can't escape. Manana retreats to the highest, thinnest branches, and watches as she loses yet another kill. To defend it would be suicide. The pride's forces grow. But numbers are not always a strength. In a hungry pride, every scrap of meat must be fought for. With the enemy distracted, Manana makes a swift exit. Barely is one opportunity lost, then another presents itself. A cheetah is on the hunt. They may look similar, but the cheetah is a very different animal to Manana. They're matched in weight, but the cheetah's long, streamlined body is built for speeds of over 100 kilometers an hour. While Manana's is built for stealth and strength. This is one opponent Manana can intimidate. Leopards only pick fights they can win, except when it comes to territory. Females will fight to the death for the rights to prey, habitat, and ample den sites. In her prime, Manana is a formidable opponent. She holds Londolosi's best territory for most of her life. But keeping it means fighting often. And risking severe injury. As Manana grows older, those injuries begin to take their toll. She's now an old leopard of 16. She's lived more than 4 years longer than most wild leopards, and her body is shutting down. She can no longer afford to fight for territory. She must watch, humbled, as younger, fitter females mark on her turf and claim the best of her territory. A familiar whoop gets her attention. A much-needed meal could await nearby. Scavenging from the hyenas that plagued her youth now helps to keep her alive as an old lady. As usual, they fight over who has the right to feed.
It's getting tougher and tougher for her to hunt. So if she can scavenge some meat from this kill, it'll keep her going for a while. And as the meat gets separated and spread around, she may have a chance to pick up a piece of meat and jump into a tree. But while there's so many hyenas, it's very, very dangerous for her to go in now.
She walks a dangerous tightrope. Scavenged meat could keep her alive. But if she's discovered, the hyenas may attack. She's safe in a tree. But she's trapped. The hyenas will show no mercy if she comes down. Manana waits for hours in the blazing sun. Until the hyena matriarch makes off with the last of the carcass. With the hyenas fat and fed, it's safe to come down at last. The ordeal has cost her precious energy. Energy she will struggle to replace. 6 months down the line, every day of life for Manana is one that JV doesn't expect. He heads out regularly to check up on her. She's in the treetops, and she's seen something. She'll eat anything she can catch now, no matter how small.
Manana used to be so fast, so strong, but now she's nearly 17. She's had to adapt to catching smaller prey. She's caught this monitor lizard, but still surviving, still using every trick to ensure her survival. She's very old. She can't have long to go.
JV moves to sit with her, perhaps for the last time.
Okay, my girlie.
In just a few weeks, she will be 17, a record age for a wild leopard, the equivalent of 85 human years old.
Okay, go.
He chuffs to her, a sound of reassurance that she would use to calm her cubs.
Okay, girl. Okay, girl. Okay, girl.
He does not fear her, nor she him. They have earned each other's trust. There are few people who could lie a body's length from a wild leopard. But JV knows his time with her is drawing to a close. Soon the day comes where JV no longer finds Manana anywhere in her territory. And he knows she is gone.
When I go out into the bush at Londolozi, I expect to see Manana around every tree. But of course, this incredible leopard is gone. I feel so privileged to have known her for 17 years. From that first moment when I made eye contact with her as a tiny little cub to the day she died.